Did you know that sharks have existed for over 400 million years, yet they have an unusually low mutation rate relative to other vertebrate animals? Today I'll be talking about 3 different types of sharks and their habits, more specifically the bull shark and its adaptations, hammerhead sharks and their preferred habitat, and finally leopard sharks and their diet. I've always been interested in sharks and sea life, so I already knew some of this information, but with added research, I feel confident in sharing my knowledge with you guys. And sharks are prominent creatures in the ocean, and most of us live right by the ocean, so it is important to know how they work and how they live. And now that you guys know what my speech is about, let's get into it. So first, I'll be talking about bull sharks, and they have developed adaptations to be able to help them survive in both saltwater and freshwater. And according to the Museum of Florida, bull sharks are one of the very few species that's readily able to move in freshwater and are able to sustain freshwater for long periods of time. And they're able to do so because of the way that their kidney functions, and they have special glands that are located near their tail, and that allows them to recycle and regulate the salt that's in their body, because they need a very specific amount of salt in their body to be able to live in general and to be able to go into fresh water. Now that we have discussed bull sharks, let's move on to the hammerhead shark and where they like to reside. So hammerhead sharks are quite specific in choosing their locations to live in, and typically they are found in temperate and tropical waters. So according to James Ketchum, hammerheads performed frequent vertical excursions above the thermocline during offshore movements and just in general. They're observed to prefer temperatures of 23 to 26 Celsius and found above the thermocline. At times, individuals moved into thermocline and made brief dives below it. However, their results provided evidence that hammerheads are highly selective in their location, especially on the current side of the island, like where there's more currents, and they're very specific about the depth that they swim and live in. So after discussing hammerhead sharks and their living situation, let's talk about the leopard shark and their diet. So leopard sharks typically have a diet that consists of benthic animals, and that's typically the biggest genre that they eat, but adult leopard sharks can also eat rockfish, surf perch, herring, and anchovies. However, according to Dr. Whitman, Dr. Kim, Newsom, Koch, and Mick Mahone, temporal and spatial variation in delta 13C and delta 15N, values of producers in the base of the food web can confound interpretations about the food assimilation. So if their climate's different, then they're gonna have to eat different foods because the foods that they normally would eat might not be there. And also, according to another article written by Alyssa Cooper, leopard sharks have, again, a broad range of abiotic tolerances, habitat preferences, and prey options. So their findings were generally consistent within the larger body of established literature for the ecology outside estuaries. However, trends of higher abundance in mudflat habitats rather than eelgrass beds, and they really depend on fat innkeeper worms, crabs, and other, again, benthic crustaceans for food, and those benthic creatures can typically be found kind of towards the bottom of the ocean or the bottom of the surface. So today I went over the three different types of sharks and how they exist, how they survive. And another fun fact is there are more than 500 different types of sharks, yet shark attacks are quite rare. They don't happen as often as you would think they would.